All right, guys, happy August. If you can take notes, I might suggest having a notebook tonight. Can you see my screen okay? Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're talking about vision tonight, which I'm very excited about. As you know, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary this weekend and love seeing all the beautiful faces on the screen. So let's get right to it. I'm going to go through some recognition. Hey, Bryn. I'm going to go through some announcements and then we're going to walk through some items that I kind of thought about when I was thinking about where our team is going to go in this next decade. Hey, Kristen. So if you have a notebook, you definitely want to have that out tonight to think about some of the things I'm going to push you to think about. And we're going to walk through what the new vision is for the team and how your vision can integrate into that. So few recognition real quickly. Really proud of so many of you guys showing up on the 10-year Zoom party on Saturday. I want every day to be like that on Zoom. So I'm challenging all of us to always be there. Just make it your standard thing because that was so fun. And I appreciate y'all showing up big. I also wanted to shout out Megan. She just completed Lava a week early. I know Katie and Alice both came and hung out with me yesterday, and Katie did all weekend in Philly. So love spending time with them in person. Megan Wirt just contributed to her vacation fund this week, which is awesome. Danielle had a new sign up this week. Rachel has been jumping on power hours this week, even with starting school. Allie's been doing a Reels challenge, and Danelle shared some conversations this week she's working through. And shout out to Kristen for sharing the free workout. So even if you didn't have someone hop on the free workout, you can still use that fitness quiz to allow someone to try a free sample workout. So just because they didn't get on Saturday, give them a deadline this week, and we'll walk through that on how you can still hold them to trying something that works for their schedule this week and still converts them into a future client or customer. Any other recognition anyone else wanted to share before I move forward? Okay. Quick announcements. So if you guys didn't know, I think it's important to be checking your online office at least 3 to 5 times a week. Now, that might seem like a lot if you don't have new clients, but there's also a lot of news that comes out there and announcements that come out there that are important to our business. And you are the CEO of your own business. So if you don't know what's going on, it can feel overwhelming. And if you just wait till the call on Sunday to figure out what's going on, then you can start feeling behind or not excited about what you're doing because you might feel confused. So I would really suggest when you sign into your online office, do it at least 3 times a week. Make sure you know what's going on. So when I am not clear on my next thing, this is where I go. So my first question to each of you is, what are you inviting to this week? Okay, because every week we set a new intention of what we're inviting to. What is the deadline for that thing that you're inviting to? And what is the offer that you are having? Now, I know a lot of you have kids going back to school, so you have to expect that this is going to be a transition time. And I would really suggest for you to team up with someone on the team to work your next group together or work your next message pod together or whatever it is that you're going to offer for your clients. Nobody outside of us knows if you didn't sign anyone up last week, but if they do know what you shared this week. So it's that Brendan sales training that's really great in the online office. And this is how we have to set our intentions each week. What are you inviting to? What is the deadline? What is the offer that you're giving them? So that will be one of your homeworks when you get off this call to add into the message pod. So make sure you write that down and you know what you're going to be excited about. The other thing is very, very special announcement. Mark it in your calendars if you can. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock on the Power Hour, Autumn is going to be on and sharing a little bit more about this new early access to a Belvital launch on August 19th. We haven't talked about this super like a lot in our team, but this is huge, guys. So if you're available tomorrow at 1, be there because she's going to break down how we can use this to build over the next couple months to the Belvital launch in December. So mark your calendars, 1 o'clock tomorrow, and then mark your calendars August 19th. This offer will be available. And we'll walk through the details once she kind of shares some more information. But essentially, they'll pay $20 for what they're calling a liver detox program, which is going to be nutrition based. And then that $20 will be going towards their pack in December as like $20 off the pack. So it's a way for us to get a list started now of anyone who's serious about doing this hormone health program with us. Okay? Next week, Allie will be doing the back to school meal prep. So we'll be doing a nutrition client call, community call then, and then we'll have the partner preview at the end of the month. So just putting that in your brain now. If you have anyone that you think would be a great partner, make sure they know about that call coming up. The other thing is they have a new 28-day action plan was transferred into the 10-day business plan. So make sure you check the online office about that. Also, Hydrate's 20% off. We had Alice try it for the first time this weekend and she loved it. So that's a great offer for people to get a little extra discount. And then there's a new update about the live classes and Body Block. So Body's really going towards what we do best, which is programs. And starting and finishing programs is where people get the most results. So they're kind of phasing away from the live classes and really continually bringing out some awesome new programs as they always do. And then I'm putting on the calendar now, the next Philly event will be October 12th. So if you want to come visit, we're going to be doing something fall festive. That is all my announcements. Anything else anyone else wants to share? Before I take a quick video that we're here and working and pouring into our dreams. Okay. We're going to take a moment and just take a deep breath. If you can put your camera on so I can see your face, that would be wonderful. But I understand if you're doing other things. But I do hope that you have Notepad and actually implement what we're doing tonight because it is important. This is a time of year where you can choose to think it's really hard, or you can choose to use the hard as a way and a path towards where you want to go. And you guys are here, so I'm very proud of you first and foremost. So let's take a moment to kind of reflect. If you have made a 2024 vision board, I want you after this call to pull it out and look at it. I'm not going to lie, when I pulled mine out and I looked at it, I was like, well, haven't done that and haven't done that and haven't done that. But what I did do on my vision board this year is I put action items to align to those goals. And when I went to the action items, I was like, okay, but I have been taking this action. So just because I haven't gotten to the goal yet, doesn't mean that I haven't been taking action towards the goal. And I think that's really important when you do vision boards, is not just to put the big goal, but also to write down the actions you're going to take to make those goals happen, so that when you sit down and kind of evaluate at a point in the year, you can really reflect that while the goal might not have happened yet, which I know many of you can relate to, you're still taking the action. And that's worth celebrating too, because that's just part of the journey, mastering the skills and taking the action. So I want you to kind of think about what is next for you in life. Okay. We're not just talking about the business. Like, what is this week's goal? What is this month's goal? Have you thought about those two things, or are you going into the week chaotic, right? Like we did at the time blocking call last week. It's a really great exercise to start tonight when we get off the call, to do that exercise that Megan asked and set your week up for success. So you know what those three main goals are, you know what's most important, but also sit down and do it, which takes time and effort and intention, but knowing how this week plugs into the larger month. So for instance, if we're just looking at our business, reflecting, okay, this week I want to help one person. Well, you guys have heard me say before, but I'll repeat it. If you want to help one person this week, you have to at least be sending 10 invites, because typically we get a 1-to-10 ratio. That's just typically how it works. Not always, but if you're consistently posting and you're consistently sharing what you're doing and you're giving value to people and you're having conversations and inviting, most likely you're going to get one yes out of those 10 people. And if you haven't yet, Continue to pour into your mentor. Continue to share your messages in the message pod. Most of the time, it's usually just tweaking a little bit on how you guys are communicating what you're doing and allowing us to help you help your first 3 people until you get into the groove of, "Oh, I know how to do this," or, "Oh, I know what to ask," or, "I know how to combat that objection." Because when you're in the beginning of your business and you haven't figured out how to hit Success Club yet consistently, we get in our heads. We overthink, we overexplain, we get very emotional, whether they say yes or no, and reflecting back, my goals are most important to me, and so I don't care what anyone else says, because a no is just not right now, and they will go on a different list, and that's okay. So I want you to kind of reflect on all of these items. That you're gonna have some work after this call, not tonight, you're not gonna do all of it, but I do want you guys over the next week to sit down and really think about, have I set my goals for this year? Have I backed them up and looked at the quarter? This is a really great exercise to do with your mentor on a call. Like, do I know how my business is pouring into the bigger picture? Because when you're going through a hard thing in your life or an unexpected thing, raise your hand if you ever had it. I know I have. Shit's gonna come up, excuse my French. Like, it's going to happen. We're all going to have life stuff. We have to expect that. But there's parameters and action you can still take that move closer to the vision of why you're doing this in the first place. So it doesn't matter if a hard life happens, you just shift and adapt. So step 1 is reflect. Get really clear on what are you working towards this week, this month, and go down the list and really think about it, and do this exercise with your spouse too. Like, get their input, because I think so often we just kind of go through life and we don't really sit time to think about why we're even doing this, and then we get caught up and life gets hard, and what happens, we throw all the action out the door because life got hard. But when we're connected to the vision, it's easier to do the action, which moves me into the next segment. Realign. I heard this quote today on the Daily Fire. If you haven't listened to it, it was very good. But he said, this is from the book The Alchemist, I believe. Maybe the journey isn't about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, that you do, that you could, I think I messed up how I wrote it, but it's not about unbecoming everything that isn't really you. I wrote it in my phone. Now it's gonna make me mad. It's about being who you're meant to be in the next chapter. I'll send it to you guys after this because I clearly butchered it. Maybe the journey isn't about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you so that you can be who you are meant to be in the first place. There we go. Third time's the charm. So, what we typically do as women when we sit and think about vision, we think about expectations, we think about rules, we think about a linear path, we think about A plus B equals C, right? Like when you came into the business, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this power hour. I'm going to get on this team call. I'm going to send this invite and it's all just going to work. But really with vision and what happens in the journey is attaching experience with fulfillment, embracing rules and parameters in your business, but expecting twists and turns so that you can stay flexible in the journey, knowing that these patterns of taking action over time are going to feel like a roller coaster ride, but it ultimately, consistently is going to lead to this destination that you want to go to. So I want to ask you guys, and maybe if you want to share in the chat or write it down, think about what is the hard that you're dealing with your life right now? What is consuming your mind? What is taking over your focus? I know for me specifically, I've been studying for this exam for the last 2 months, and it's been very hard to embrace doing anything fun related with my friends because I felt guilty because I felt like any extra time I had to be studying. And what happened is I still didn't pass the exam. And so I feel like most of my summer I've given up and I haven't gotten the result that I wanted. And I was really freaking pissed. So instead of staying in the emotion of being pissed for the next 6 months until I can take it again, I'm going to think about, well, that really sucks, right? Like this is a hard moment. It's a choice for me though on what I do next. So I'm going to embrace that emotion. I'm going to accept that it happened, but the failure is not It's an experience and it's an event. It's not me as a failure. And that kind of helped me work through and set a timeline to go through that motion and move forward. Like I gave myself a day on Thursday to feel shitty and this sucks and this isn't working. And then Friday came and it was time to turn on the fun for the weekend. Like I can't do anything about it anymore. So what's the point of sitting and dwelling in it, right? Which leads me to the next thing. I wanted you guys to kind of reimagine for a second and pour into this for me. I listed a couple things on this left side and I wanted you to think about it. When you experience one of these things, let's just say all of you, I actually was talking to Katie about this weekend. All of you are married. When you got proposed to, was it what you expected? Like this vision, we are all women, so most of us kind of have thought about a wedding or being proposed to for a long time in our lives, I would say, in general. Like that's just a typical thought. Did it go according to your plan? Did you hear the words you wanted to say from your spouse? Or at your wedding, was it how you wanted it to be? Was it better than you imagined? Did everything go perfectly? Um, how did that go? Like, what is the experience? Like, did it go exactly according to your plan? Same thing with like getting a new job or a new role. When you step into that new role or you go through the interviews and you finally get the job offer, like did that path go according to plan? I know I have been on furlough and laid off before, and it was like, well, I want a job tomorrow, but like you have to go through the process of updating your resume, applying to the jobs, going to the interviews, then you have to sit and wait around and kind of follow up and maybe they'll answer, maybe they won't. It's this twist and turn path, right? It's not I sent my resume, they asked me on an interview and I got an offer the next day. That's not how it works. That's not life. But there's also things in life that happen that are even better and more beautiful than you thought. Like, for instance, maybe during your pregnancy, it was really hard, or you experienced, you had a friend that went through a really hard time getting pregnant, but then when they had the child, or when they've seen them grow up, it's been like this most amazing thing of their life, better than they ever thought. So I'm sharing these things because I want you to think about your business in this way that there's going to be the same twists and turns, right? There's going to be the same unexpected highs and lows, and it's not going to be this linear path that we often like to think of when it comes to vision and casting dreams and building goals. So, in my experience over 10 years of missing goals, hitting goals, building a team, having people quit, um, building income, losing income, being in times where I was really hustling and loving my business, and being in times where I never wanted to check my online office because it just felt like the black death hole. The times I feel best about myself and about the team and that has gotten me through hards is having goals. When you don't have goals, it's very hard to find your purpose. Because if you're not working towards anything, you're just flailing, right? You're unintentional, you're reacting to the day, you're just kind of sort of doing whatever. But when we pursue goals, embracing the pursuit instead of looking at the outcome, that's where the confidence is built. That's where the respect of this is the person I am. I'm the person that gets on Zoom every time I work out. Katie Holt gets me out of bed every damn day. Like she is just the consistency queen. I'm the type of girl that shows up on team calls every Sunday. That's important. No matter what else is going on in my life, this is a meeting in my calendar and you all are here. And again, I give you the pat on the back because it's important to you. You want something out of that. Same thing with following a program. If you do a program, you finish it, right? So, what matters most to you right now in your life? When you think about the hard thing you worry about, what is most important outside of your health? Because that's just a given here. Like, what experiences do you want more of for your family? What can you readjust from the distractions that you're having to lean a little bit more towards the life you want to live? Because we all know we're the drivers of the school bus of our lives. Nobody's going to come to your house and make you do the work or send the invites or show up on the calls, right? Like you have to decide to be the CEO and to do it the way that works for you in the season of life. So for me, aligning my body goals have been really important to leading to the life goals, which in turn are connected to the bigger vision. Because if I go quiet and I pull back and I stop showing up, guess what everyone else does? All of that. What I have found in when I'm going through hard seasons or things aren't just clicking as I want, having accountability, having someone to plug into, which I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, and being excited about what you're doing is the recommitment to the vision that you're setting based on the larger plan goals that you have. So it's rebuild phase. Like, and guys, I rebuild every single year. So it's not a bad, like, it's not a bad forbidden word. Rebuilding and building are beautiful. It's simple. You pick a program. Do you know what program you're doing next if you're doing Lava right now or whatever program you just finished? What nutrition plan are you following? If you're doing whatever you want, guess what your business is going to reflect? Whatever you want. It's not going to be very consistent. You have to put your PD plan in bulletproof mode. Like, set a timeline to feel the hard you're going through and give yourself space to feel the feelings. But having personal development as a part of your plan every single day is a non-negotiable. And I'll shout out Katie for this. She literally read while she was here. And she was like, I bet you already read today, Danielle, so I need to read. I'm like, well, damn, that's like, she's kicking my booty, but it's true. Like these habits are contagious. You have to plug into mentorship. If you try to do this business yourself, it just doesn't work. I'm going to be honest. We get in our own heads. We are the worst critics of ourselves. We talk ourselves into holes of why we can't and why it's too busy and why it's too hard and all these things. Sometimes we just need the support of our mentor to remind us it's okay and to shift and adapt to the season that we're in. But often we can't do that alone. It's harder alone. So don't do the hard things by yourself. Plug into your mentor, plug into someone in this community. Say, "Hey, I'm really struggling with this. I need help." Because if you sit in the suck's going to keep building. Like it's going to keep accumulating and build up, and then it's going to explode, and then you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to pull out. And really leaning into the things that are KISS, keep it stupid simple, are the things that you need to revert to. The other thing that I find when I am in a season of like what's next or I'm not sure, get excited about what your next group is. If you're not excited about it, do something different. If you're hating what you show up to every day, do something different. This is not about hating your journey, because if you don't like it, people can read right through you. And I'm all about finishing what you start, because I think there's important lessons in that too. But you guys are allowed to ask for help from other women on this team. Like, the best way I built my business is having a success partner that got on and worked with me, that called me out when I didn't show up to a call, that was that person to go to bounce ideas off of like, "Hey, this is my big goal for this year. This is my monthly goal. These are the things that I want to adjust to. These are the things that I'm struggling with. What do you think about that? Like, how can I best get through that?" Sometimes it's good with talking out with your mentor, but sometimes getting on the phone with each other, I totally encourage it, because you guys all have great ideas that you can bring to the table. And often it's just like getting out of your head. I've said it like 5 million times. We all are in our head, and scheduling fun in your calendar. We are such routine-oriented team that we often forget it's okay to do things that are not part of the routine. Like, when's the last time you had a date night with your husband? When's the last time you took a girls' weekend or did a girls' night and just hung out with your friends? When's the time you took one of your kids out and just had a one-on-one fun night with whatever they wanted to do? Like, put that on your calendar this month and channel something fun for yourself. First off, it's boring to post the same things over and over and over again, right? Like, we need to provide some sort of value and show we're a human being. And second, like, you need that to keep yourself grounded on who you are and what you love to do. So that's my second homework to you. Plan something fun, bring something that's joyful into your life this month. All right, we're almost there. Reignite. These are some ways that I have been really focusing on, I'd say the last 6 to 8 months that have helped me reignite my fire again. You guys know I've said it on many team calls. Like for a year, I was not hitting my business goals. I was kind of sort of showing up. I was not able to be the leader that you guys see today because I was in a very toxic relationship. And so I had to relearn how to be a leader again. And I had to relearn how to do my business again. Like I felt like I was a new coach back in November. Some things that I've done that have helped me build my confidence back and I think are very relatable to all of you and where you are in your business. Not that you're rebuilding, but as you build, building your confidence and your tenacity to persevere through anything that comes your way is really key. So I love putting quotes that I hear in personal development or in workouts, things that speak to me and fire me up. I put them on my phone as silent alarms throughout the day. Just little reminders to just ping me that have no sound, like they just pop up like a text message. It's a really great way to spark joy throughout your day. I'm currently reading Super Attractor, and it's all about manifestation and plugging into your energy. Highly recommend. I do the I am meditations every single morning, which are part of our blend. Obviously, you guys know we're big proponents of getting in nature every day. Make your walks with Growth Day a non-negotiable. They change every single mood that I have, and Brendan is a game changer. Do something you love next month. Teach something you love next month. So, I want more of y'all to be speaking on these team calls and teaching things that you're learning as you're going. So I definitely want to invite that if there's something that you have fallen in love with or want to teach the team on. I really think that helps master being a leader and speaking with confidence. And that's how I learned how to do these. I was so bad in the beginning, but I love that there's three of you here tonight and we get to connect over this. So I want to give you guys more space to share what is working for you and leading within this team. So that's something that is a goal of mine for the rest of the year. And please just get rid of the BS people that bring you down, the things that bring you down, the activities that hold you back from feeling good. Put your vision first. Like your vision for your family leads first. Who cares who says no to you? Who cares what, Aunt Sally said from your third cousin about your one post? Who cares? If I would have listened to them, I would not have sat at a table this weekend with 6 other women who consistently kept sharing there's not enough communities like this for women. This is such a safe space where I feel supported and can come back to. I love how we all push each other to grow. Like all these things that I'm hearing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine if I let Aunt Sally make me shrink into a hole and go away and stop sharing or stop inviting or stop posting. I wouldn't have this table of women that would have a space to go to. Like, it's not about us, guys. Reigniting ourselves is reigniting in someone else what they didn't know was even possible. So don't take that for granted. 2 more. We can only achieve big things, guys, when we lean in together. So pursue, this is my invitation to you to pursue your life vision with me. You're not a failure no matter where you're at in your business. A failure or a lack of hitting your goal is just an event that happened. So what? What's next? We all have hearts. We all can have the opportunity to use them to help someone else, to heal someone else and ourselves, to lean into happier habits so that when the next hard comes, we have stronger armor to not let it get us down so much. So, your homework when you get off this call, schedule your next mentor call. Make sure you pull up your vision board and discuss it and readjust if needed. And if you didn't do one, do one. Walk through that exercise. There's a team call about vision boards. You can go back on my YouTube and watch it from December. Set your weekly, monthly, and yearly goals within that call to align to your big 10-year vision. Yeah, I said it. Set the vision for 10 years. Because you all are going to be here in 10 years. Like, you're not allowed to leave because I believe in you too much and I know your big goals and dreams. And I promise you, when you're consistently taking action towards them, crazy, incredible things can happen. So I want you to start by getting off this call and sharing in the pod after this call what your goal is for this week. And then share one thing that fired you up about the call tonight or that you learned or resonated with. This to me is separation season. And you can do this season at any speed that works for you. But every single one of you is an integral part of where we're going as a team, which to me is helping and inspiring more women to know they have a space to not feel alone, that they can be vulnerable and open, that they can plug into for joy and support, that they can know no matter if they're postpartum or pregnant or going through a divorce or breaking up a relationship or dealing with a health issue, that they are always welcome back and they are always supported through that journey. And they know they have a place to go to be a better version of themselves. The vision for me is to build big. Okay. And I'm going to readjust my vision board and hold myself accountable to sharing it with you guys. I want you to do the same. Don't be bashful about sharing what's on your heart. But also, you have to back it up with taking action towards the vision that you have in a way that works for you, right? Because we're all different. We all have different goals in this team, and every single one of you is welcome at whatever speed you want to go, but you have to do something. You can't just get off this call and say, okay, good night. So you're going to get off this call. You're going to share your goal for this week, and you're going to share one thing you learned from this call and take your photo that you're here, share it on your social media. Be the one that gives someone else the opportunity to know they're not alone and there's a space here for them to grow alongside of you. I love each and every single one of you. I'm so proud of you for being here tonight. I hope this spoke to your heart, and I can't wait to see what your goals and your vision is. I'll see you guys on Zoom in the morning.